Okay, so welcome to the Waddles Writing Institute. This is a place where you can come and get information that you need to make yourself a better writer, to remember what you need to do as you're writing an essay, maybe even something shorter, a little paragraph, anything. I want you to have a place where you can come and you can watch short little videos, maybe when you're stuck, when you're struggling with an essay, and there's something that you know that you are not remembering, but you need to get right. And so these videos are designed to hopefully help you out with that writing. Um, so the first thing I thought we would do is we would come up with some rules. And so I have these 10 rules, and they're you can think of them as guidelines, commandments, laws, whatever you want. But I think that if you follow these, well, you know what? Just take a look. Okay, so here's what we have. We have 10 rules to write by. If you follow these rules, I promise your writing will get better. Rule number 1, don't be lazy. Never use abbreviations. Here's what I'm talking about. The most common example is etc. If you've got more to say, then say it. Don't make the reader guess what you have in mind. Saying etc. leaves the reader wondering. Rule number 2, be precise. Never use symbols in place of words. Here's what I see in writing a lot. My friend and I went to the beach. Look at the ampersand. I left my homework at home. Look at the @ symbol. Don't do this. Use the words. You know the words, so use them. Rule number 3, remember your audience. Never use text language. Look at these 4 symbols. I know you know what they mean. It's fine if you're texting your friend, but not if you're writing an essay. Rule number 4, except in dialogue, never use exclamation points. It's just not necessary. Just say what you have to say, write what you have to write. Rule number 5, never divide words at the end of a line. It might seem like this is a structural thing, but really remember this, good writing is supposed to flow. If you interrupt a word, you interrupt what your reader is thinking. You interrupt your line of thought. Rule number 6, be articulate. Avoid weak modifiers like very or little or really. Let me show you what I mean. If the dog is very small, describe it as tiny. If a character is really tired, he's probably exhausted. If it's a little hot outside, maybe it's just warm. Good writing is about painting a picture, and to do that, you've got to use the right vocabulary. Don't be lazy. Use the right vocabulary. Rule number 7, spell out single-digit numbers, but use numerals for numbers greater than 9. Here's what this means. Take a look. There are 6 classes on my schedule. The number 6 is spelled out. The Yankees have won the World Series 27 times. 27 gets numerals. Andrew Luck threw 3 touchdown passes. Again, 3 is spelled out. Oh, one more thing. No matter what the number is, if it starts a sentence, you must spell it out. No numbers to start a sentence. Rule number 8, choose the appropriate tense and stay there. Most of the time when we write, we use past tense. You can use present tense, that's fine, but you've got to make sure that you stick with it. Don't go back and forth between past and present. Rule number 9, don't make your reader work too hard. Be clear. The goal of good writing is to get your message across to the reader. If the reader wonders what you're saying, that's not good. Rule number 10, and this is the most important one, don't expect to get it right the first time. Revise. In fact, this is so important. Let me show you something. So here's what I wanted to show you. This is the Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kingsolver. It might be my favorite book of all time. Love this book. The reason I'm showing it to you is because take a look at how thick it is. Barbara Kingsolver did not sit down and write this whole thing beginning to end in one sitting. In fact, it took her 10 years before she got this book the way she wanted it. She wrote for long periods, set it aside for more than a year, came back to it. Finally, after 10 years, she had this, her masterpiece. Now, what do we learn from this? It's quite simple. If Barbara Kingsolver, an actual author, has to revise her work, surely you and I have to also. So don't be afraid to revise. In sum, if you can follow these 10 rules that I've laid down here, I can promise you 2 things. Number 1, you will become a better writer. Number 2, one day, if you work hard at it, and if you're a little bit lucky, you might have your name across the top of a book like this sitting on my bookshelf. And what could be better than that? Until next time, this was the Waddles Writing Institute. Keep writing.